Welcome to Echo of Crime YouTube channel. On the morning of February 13th, 2017, Delphi, Indiana looked like any other quiet Midwestern town. The air was cold, the sky pale, and the old Monon High Bridge trail sat silent over the trees. It was a school day, but because of a teacher work session, Abigail Williams and Liberty German had the day off, a rare chance for two best friends to explore, laugh, and enjoy the freedom of being young. They didn't know this walk would place them at the center of one of America's most haunting crime mysteries. Liberty, 14, was the more outspoken one, always carrying her phone like a mini camera crew. Abby, 13, loved photography and nature. Around 1:35 p.m., the girls were dropped off near the trail and began walking toward the towering wooden bridge, a popular spot for teens to take pictures. As they moved deeper into the trail, Libby filmed their day the way many teens do. Small video clips, selfies, and snapshots of their shoes crossing the old boards. Everything felt normal, peaceful, safe. But somewhere along the trail, they noticed a man behind them, someone neither of them recognized. Calm at first, the girls continued walking. Libby quietly lifted her phone again, but this time not for fun. This time, she recorded because something felt wrong. The man's pace, his focus, the way he stayed just close enough, it all triggered a sense of danger. Libby did exactly what investigators would later call an act of remarkable courage. She kept the camera facing backward, capturing the man approaching. Minutes later, her phone recorded 3 chilling words that would echo across America. "Guys down the hill." No one knew what happened next, not yet. The footage cut off, and the trail went silent once more. The girls didn't return home. The families reported them missing. Search teams flooded the woods through the night. And by the following day, February 14th, the quiet town of Delphi would never be the same again. By the early morning of February 14th, 2017, the search for Abby and Libby had grown into a massive community effort. Volunteers, firefighters, police officers, and neighbors walked every inch of the Monon High Bridge trail, calling out the girls' names. The night before had offered nothing, no footprints, no signs of struggle, no abandoned belongings. Only the stillness of the woods and the uneasy feeling that something was terribly wrong. Late that morning, searchers found what they feared most: the bodies of Liberty German and Abigail Williams, located in a wooded area near Deer Creek, just off the trail. Investigators quickly secured the scene. Delphi, a town of fewer than 3,000 people, felt its heart break. Parents clutched their children tightly. Neighbors cried in silence. And police understood instantly that they were facing a homicide case unlike anything the community had seen before. As investigators worked through the early evidence, one item stood out above all others: Libby's phone. Despite everything, the device had survived. When detectives accessed it, they discovered photos and videos the girls had taken earlier that day. But then they found something else. Something that would change the direction of the entire investigation. Liberty had recorded the suspect. A short clip showed a man walking across the bridge toward the girls, his hands in his pockets, his head slightly down, his stride steady and intentional. Detectives isolated the audio and heard a firm, commanding voice instructing the girls. "Guys down the hill." The public would only ever see a few seconds of that video and hear those 3 words, but investigators had more, longer footage, additional audio, and context that they have never fully released. The phone also contained time-stamped data that confirmed the moment the girls encountered the suspect. This device, a simple smartphone carried by a 14-year-old girl, became the most important piece of evidence in the case. With Libby's recording, police created their first sketch, their first timeline, and their first real hope. The investigation exploded into one of the largest in Indiana history. Hundreds of tips came in daily. Agents from the FBI, Indiana State Police, and local officers worked side by side. Everyone believed they were close. For years, the Delphi case felt frozen in time. The grainy image of the man on the bridge and the haunting words "guys down the hill" circulated nationwide. Investigators followed thousands of leads, released 2 different sketches, analyzed phone records, and conducted countless interviews. Yet the suspect remained unidentified. To the public, it seemed impossible. How could someone captured on video, someone whose voice had been heard across the country, still be unknown? Then, in October 2022, everything changed. Police announced the arrest of Richard Allen, a 50-year-old pharmacy technician who lived in Delphi, less than 2 miles from the Monon High Bridge. He had lived there for years, blending into the community as an ordinary neighbor, a quiet man who worked shifts and minded his own business. But investigators revealed that Allen had been on their radar early on. In fact, he had voluntarily spoken to police back in 2017, saying he had been on the bridge that day. At the time, it didn't seem significant. 5 years later, it became the detail that brought the case full circle. Court documents showed that investigators had re-examined old statements, retested evidence, and re-evaluated digital data. Among the most striking pieces of information was what they found connected to Libby's phone. Though only a short segment was ever shown publicly, investigators had access to the full recording, additional audio, extended video, and metadata that helped build a timeline of the girl's final moments. The longer footage reportedly contained the suspect's movements, tone, and behavior leading up to the abduction, giving investigators more insight than the public ever knew. Combined with witness accounts, ballistic evidence, and Allen's own admission of being on the bridge that day, the case finally had enough weight to move forward. The arrest sent shockwaves through the nation, not just because of Allen's proximity to the crime scene, but because of how long he had lived quietly among the same community that had searched for Abby and Libby. Delphi residents felt a mixture of relief and sorrow. Relief that someone had been charged, and sorrow for everything the town had endured. The full truth of what happened on February 13, 2017, remains sealed in court records. The unreleased portions of Libby's phone recording may never be made public. But one fact is universally acknowledged. Liberty German's courage changed the entire investigation. Her instinct to record in the face of danger captured the most vital evidence in the case. Evidence that kept the investigation alive and ultimately helped lead to an arrest. The tragedy of the Delphi murders still lingers in America's collective memory. But so does Libby's bravery and Abby's spirit and a small town's determination to find justice, no matter how long it takes.